are back. Welcome to another episode of the Hustle and Close podcast. Guys, JJ, Chad, man, it has been a while. What's up, fellas?
What's going on?
What's going on, JJ?
How you doing?
What's going on, Chad? Chad's a little frozen. There we
I
go.
seen
There we
that.
go.
What's happening?
Man,
What is
it has
happening?
been feels like forever since we done one of these, man. We took a couple months off. We had some we were solving all the world's problems and really hitting the streets and getting active, man. But we are back and we are back for good. You guys will be seeing us every single week moving forward. So we are extremely excited about what we have coming up with the Hustle and Close podcast. Um, but we're here. We're here today, and we're gonna catch up on the past few months really quickly. We're gonna get into we're just gonna talk our talk, do what we do, and then we'll wrap this thing up, man. But I'm excited about today's episode because I get to kick it with my guys for a little bit, man, and just shoot the breeze with you guys. Um, I know Chad's a little bit under the weather, just a little bit under the weather. He's in really good spirits though, so we're gonna work through everything. But what's going on, fellas, man? What has the past couple months been like? JJ, what's been going on, man? Give the folks a peek behind the curtain.
Man, I've had a great time. We've got to see some new things coming in the company over the last couple weeks. I had an amazing event. I had the chance to attend last week with the South Carolina Alarm Association. Everybody got together, even though all the storms and everything, you could feel it in the room, but everybody got together, kind of breathe a little bit. Personally, man, dude, I hope y'all got tissues because my team is. I mean, I don't even got words. We finally made a decision to change quarterbacks and say he was hurt, but we can say we can put lipstick on a pig if we want to, but he needed to go.
Yes, he did.
Woo! But other than
Yes,
that,
he
man,
did.
everything's good. I got a little camping trip planned this weekend, and looking forward.
Yeah,
Finish out the
man.
fourth quarter strong.
Yeah. No, man, you hit it. And one of the things you said, man, was the storm, man. I lost power for 5 days. We I think the power went out that Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday it came back on. I think it was it was Tuesday. Tuesday it came back on. Um Fortunately, I went and got a generator that Friday morning, so we were able to, have the necessities, man. But it was tough, man. It was, and I got a baby, so we, it was rough, man. But we made it through. So it was all good, man. Other than that, like you said, man, we've been just doing some cool things. We've been a bunch of great places, traveling around. We were actually that week that the storm hit, we were in Augusta, which got hit really bad.
Yes.
We were in Augusta doing a bunch of things with the whole D365 stuff. So that was pretty cool, and just getting to be around everybody and be around the team. So all of that was cool, man. But it was crazy, man. But you said it, man. I didn't want to say it. I didn't. Florida State has been a dumpster fire. It's been rough, man. During that time, my team lost to my arch nemesis. I know we have a partnership with this team as an organization, but Alabama has been a thorn in my side for many years, and they kept that tradition going a couple weeks ago. But this week we got a chance to redeem it. We go to Texas, we go up to Austin, and I'm talking about the Dogs. For those of you who don't know, the back-to-back defending, well, we're not defending anymore, but the back-to-back champs. We go to Austin, Texas to play the Longhorns, and I'm not as confident about that, but I'm hoping we can. I'm hoping we can show some resilience and battle through, man. So with that being said, there was some interesting comments that came out yesterday from one Mike Tomlin about Chad's team, the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are what, 4-2? They're 4-2 at this point. 4-2 with Justin Fields starting at quarterback, who's looked pretty good to me. I mean, I I don't see a need for a quarterback change, but they've decided that they're gonna change quarterbacks. Chad, we come to you.
I'll say this. So, how do I say this? So, if you think of it old school, we've only had 4 head coaches in
Yep.
the 100 years that we've been around. In those 4 head coaches, Tomlin is the most winningest coach in what, NFL history or some BS like that. But he hasn't won anything. He hasn't won a playoff game in 15 years. We haven't won a single playoff game in 15 years. He had inherited Roethlisberger as his quarterback. When Roethlisberger, I watched Footballing with Roethlisberger, his podcast, and Roethlisberger even said, Justin Fields he's your future. I think the kid, you look at his stats, he's doing better than half the league. I don't know. Are you looking to like trade Russell or what? It makes me angry for that defense because you have generational talent that we're wasting if we're just going to call this a rebuild year. I mean,
Miami not much rebuilding.
Las Vegas. I mean, we're ready. We're missing 2 pieces right now: a wide receiver and a head coach.
Oh,
woo! Hot take.
Hot take.
Hot take.
Hot take.
Hot take.
Hot take Wednesday. Listen,
Bill
Belichick
just went on and called him an idiot.
What'd you say?
Bill Belichick just went on Pat McAfee and called Tomlin an idiot.
Did he?
Yeah.
Wow.
And his players are revolting about their Deshaun Elliott just posted a picture of Mike Tomlin on Osama bin Laden's face.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ.
So his players are a little upset with him now.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit far.
A little much.
But I knew the get rid of Tomlin chants were gonna start to come. But it could, you said something interesting. It could be a showcase for a trade, right? It could be a 1, maybe 2 week showcase of, hey, let's put him out there. Because who do you guys play this week? Who do you guys play this week?
We play the Jets. Now, listen, I know the Jets, they've lost their last 2 games, right? They got a new interim coach. They took the Bills to the limit.
Yeah.
They just took the Bills to the limit.
Listen, I think this could be a showcase of we're going to put Russ out there because his value is really low right now, right? But if we put him out there, he has a great game. Now we can put him on the trading block, and you might get a team like Miami, who is desperate for some quarterback play, who goes and says, "All right, Russ, we'll spend a 5th round pick or a 6th round pick to get Russ, because right now you're not going to get that for him. So if you can get a 4th, a 5th round pick for a Russell Wilson, that's a win, and somebody takes a salary, that's a win." Mm-hmm. I think that's what this could be. This could be a showcase to say, hey, let's show you what he can do, and then we get him out of here.
Let me pivot this to a sales and a management position question.
Okay.
All right. A sales manager position. You have a sales rep that had struggled. Let's just say was failing, but you saw glimmers of hope in him, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Then all of a sudden, you maybe switched up the territories and he goes to a new territory, and you know what? He's doing a lot better, and he's buying in. You got him buying into the system, right?
Yep.
And the team is like, everybody's starting to work as a team, and they're starting to come together. And the more and more you practice, the better you make your craft, right?
Sure.
What does that do to a person? What does that do to his morale? I mean, this could be advantageous if you Think about it. Like it could really cripple Justin. I mean,
So you
Justin
just took all Justin's leads. He don't get no more leads this month.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
just took them.
Yep. Yeah. No. Man, that is an excellent analogy. I can think of in the past, man. I've been that person, with a bad territory, just a bad territory where it's not active. There's not a lot going on, or we've already got all the market share in that territory. Which has been the case for me in the past. Not here with Vector, but at another organization where I was in a territory that was just rough, man. No growth, we already own like 80% of the market in that territory. Well, if that's the case, there's not a lot to get, there's not a lot to eat from there. And that was a situation where we didn't get leads. It was just what you go out there, you eat what you kill type of thing, you
That's
know what I
right.
mean? And so I remember getting switched to a different territory that had a lot of growth and saw immediate change, right? Immediate change. But to your point, then what happens if someone else comes in and you say, all right, I'm going to take that territory from you, or I'm going to take those leads from you, and I'm going to give, how can that affect somebody? So absolutely. I love that analogy and the way you put that together for sure.
And then you relate it
You just
back to the number one pick of the NFL draft or any draft. Especially NFL, it's not like NBA. It's not a lottery. You're going to get these bunch of teams who have a chance to pick first. If you're the worst team, you get the first pick. And we got all these Heisman winners that go to this god awful territory, this god awful team, and they should make it now the best thing ever. Well,
Yep.
it takes pieces and mentors and people around them to do that. But if you don't have anything to work with or area to work, man, that's a lot of pressure on a new person. That's a lot of pressure on that rookie. I mean, because then you think about the Steve Young. He got behind Joe Montana. You think Aaron Rodgers, he was behind Brett Favre. You think all these other very successful quarterbacks, they got to learn from that number
Tom
one
Brady
rep.
was behind Bledsoe.
That's right.
So
actually, he was behind Scott Zolak.
well, yeah, originally, yeah,
Scott,
you're right.
Scott Zolak.
But then, like,
you-
go ahead.
how many? So right now they're saying that the quarterback class that came out this year could be the worst quarterback class in NFL history, right? Caleb, he's doing all right, but he's not. But he's in that system where Justin just left. Justin's starting to see he's got the arms, he's got the agility. It just, to me, it's going to be detrimental to his development. Now, mind you, I did hear this comment be said. Mike Tomlin hasn't come out and said anything yet. He said his comment was, "We're going to let Russ have first string reps, right?
Yeah.
In practice, see how it goes." Now, it could be an ego thing too. Do they want to let Russ down a little hard, let him down easy? I mean, he is a potential Hall of Famer. So until your head coach takes a stance, there's going to be speculation. And that speculation can only be detrimental to the team. And it's going to cause and that relates to something that we've been talking about, like fourth quarter strategies. And you have to take into consideration how every decision you make when you're in a leadership position, how that is going to be torn down to your entire team, or how are they going to perceive it.
Absolutely.
Now, I mean, and JJ, you said this too. Like, I'll just ask, if you have leads coming in, right? You're in charge. You've got all the leads coming in, and you've got an A player, a B player, and a C player, right? You have a number to hit, right?
That's right.
At the end of the month, who are you giving those leads to?
Where I hit that number.
Yeah,
exactly.
Who can hit that number? Because it's the betterment for the branch and not the individual.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm trying to think of the guy's name. Pip, I think his name was. The guy for the Yankees got hurt, and he never went back in because Lou Gehrig went in and he stayed in, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing with Russ. Russ had a calf tweak, and I mean the dude's taking Photoshop. I mean, Russ says everything right. He says everything politically right?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, but I'm gonna go with the hot hand.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna feed the people that are gonna feed me.
And listen, that could very well be the case, right? They could, this could be smoke and mirrors. This could be, just gamesmanship for all we know, right? Like he could easily just send Fields out there first snap on Sunday and that be it. So I won't read too much into it, but I am very interested to see what Sunday's gonna look like for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And it could be a psychology too. Well, let's let the Jets think we're starting Wilson.
Or not only that, let's keep Justin Fields on his toes, right? Yeah. We want you to know that there's competition here.
That's right.
Right? Which look, we do that in branches, right?
That's right.
Like we absolutely do that in branches. Like we're always looking to bring in new great talent, right? One of my branches did something really cool last month where they did a contest and new reps versus the tenure reps, new hires versus tenure reps, right? And I won't say the outcome of it, but it was really cool. You know what I'm saying? And it just creates an atmosphere of competition, right? You always, that's what you see from all the great coaches, all the great leaders in any organization is you want to keep the competitive atmosphere going and find ways to continue to evolve that and continue to grow that. But Chad, you mentioned something a few minutes ago in regards to fourth quarter strategies. And I think that's a very good topic. I mean, we're right in the middle of it. We're in the middle of October. So for first 2 weeks of the fourth quarter. And me being in sales, I knew every year, I had some strategies that I would try and implement. One of the things that I learned when I first got into outside sales, I had a sales manager who told me, he said, think of yourself as a squirrel, right? And what do you see squirrels do right around this time of year? They start to collect nuts, right? They start to collect them. They start to store them. They're storing those little nuts for the winter, right? When there aren't any, when it's too cold for them to go out, and that way they can feed all winter. I think that is a great strategy from a sales perspective, is going these next 4 to 6 weeks, right? Because we all know what it is, especially if you're whether you're residential, because if you're residential, families are traveling, they're busy, it's holidays, they got a lot going on, right? And it's holidays, and so they're not really trying to spend as much money as they would maybe in the June, July, August, September time. They're really storing all of their funds for travel or for gifts for the holidays, or just for the slow months, which we know are January, February, right? So they're doing that. If you're in the commercial space, a lot of this is budget season, right? We're going through that right now. And so what you see, hey, we may not make a move until top of the year, first quarter, from some of your clients, because they're looking at budget strategies. And then the small businesses, it's the same for them. A lot of them are in and out of the office. They're with their families. They're traveling, and they're doing the same thing. They're being more conservative around this time of year. So what you have to do is, coming into this fourth quarter, these next 4 to 6 weeks, right up until I would say probably midway through November, it's time to store, right? It's time to go out, find business, do as much prospecting as you can, get as much people, build your funnel up as much as possible, get as much people, as many businesses as you can in there. And that way you have something to work during the following 4 to 6 weeks, right? Through December. That was always my strategy. It was September into from the end of September through the middle of November. It's okay, it's hunting season, right? And I'm going out and I'm finding as much as I can. I'm filling my funnel up as much as I can so that I can have plenty to work off of through this downturn. We know what the fourth quarter is like. If you haven't been in outside sales before, if you're a new rep who's watching this, you're about to head into the dog days, and the people who are successful are prepared for it, right?
Yep.
Those are the people who are who are prepping themselves, who are out here beating the streets heavy during this time, so that going into November, December, they've already built their funnel up. They've already got a pipeline that they're working, and they're just eating off of that, because there's not going to be as much to find in those latter months of the year, that late November, December time. It's holidays. A lot of people are taking off. Even if you you may be working something. Well, we know, what do people do at the end of the year, JJ, with their time?
Spend it with the family.
They're spending and they're taking all of that PTO time at the end of the year. So those decision makers who you're trying to get in touch with, they may not be available. So now's the time. Now's the time to start building that funnel. Now's the time to start putting things in motion, so that when that December, when that late November does hit, you're already rolling. And here's the other thing. Use those first 2 weeks of December, because there is that little gap, right after the holidays, but right before the middle of December. There's a little gap where things do kind of roll a little bit more. That first 2 weeks of December, it's like, because everybody's like, all right, we got to wrap up the year, right? We got to wrap up the year. So things are kind of in motion a little bit for about 2 weeks. Use that time to prep yourself for January, because January is going to also be traditionally a slower month, right? Now, some Januaries we hit. 2 years ago, January was great.
Yes.
January was great, right? Not so much this year, right? So it really depends. So, but what you want to do is you want to prep yourself, take that 2 weeks, go hard, beat the streets, knock some doors, and prep yourself for that that January, because that's going to pay dividends for yourself. Then the work you put in today, you see the results from 3 to 4 weeks from now, right? So the doors you knock today, you see those results later. Go ahead, Chad.
Can I piggyback on that?
Go ahead. I'm done.
So if we take a look right here it is. This is October, November, December, right? What's today's date? Today's the 11th or the
16th.
16th. Jeez. So let's for all intensive purposes, I'm gonna be like a John Madden here. We're gonna scroll these out, right?
Yep.
So 17th, 18th, you got 4 days next week, because next Friday, that'll be the Halloween parties, right?
Yep.
Then you come
now you got me looking at my calendar. Go ahead. I'm with you.
Then boom. And then it's November 1st. It's a Friday. So the first full week in November, you've got 5, 10. Now this is where it starts getting a little dicey, because people are going to start having holiday parties.
Yeah.
So now you got the 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st, the 22nd. Definitely is probably going to get real dicey.
Yep.
And then
travel. People are traveling that week because they've already taken off the next Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. So they're heading out that Friday before.
So Thanksgiving's the 28th.
Yep.
Wednesday the 27th is the second largest party night in America, next to New Year's Eve. So 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, the first, and then that Monday's the first. That's usually like hunting season. And then boom, we're already 3 weeks into the end of the year, because as soon as this day hit, I mean, Christmas is on a Wednesday. People will probably take off that entire week, come back the new year. You literally, starting in December, you only have 2 weeks to hit your number. And if you're thinking about October, November, December now, you're going to be behind the 8 ball. I mean, this is when you should be thinking. Yeah.
I can tell you right now, looking at this calendar, December 20th is probably the end, right? Because the 21st, 22nd, that's Saturday, Sunday. The 23rd, you're 2 days out of Christmas. Nothing's going on that day. Nothing's going on that week. And then the next week, you go into New Year's. Nothing's going on that week, right? So New Year's Eve is on a New Year's Eve is on a Tuesday. New Year's Day is on a Wednesday. So really, you have to be ready and be prepped. You got that gap, that 2 weeks, that week and a half at the beginning of December.
Yeah.
Beginning of December, and that's about it. That's about it. Things are gonna get tough. Now, that's not to say you can't do it, right? We're not here to say you can't do it. We just want you guys to be prepared for what's to come, because going into that fourth quarter, man, it's tough sledding sometimes. And if you're not prepared, if you don't have a funnel built up, if you haven't put the work in early on, it's going to be difficult to see the results. So just have a sense of urgency. But when we're talking about that, we're talking about that from a sales perspective, but I think it's also important to highlight what that looks like from a leadership perspective also, right? And how our branch leaders can prepare themselves and prepare their team. So JJ, as somebody who was in leadership for many, many years, what were some things, some strategies that you took around this time of year to prep yourself, prep your team? Because I mean, you were a GM, so you're over ops, you're over sales, you're over admin. You're the puppet master in that regard. So what were some strategies that you took to get everybody prepared and get yourself ready too?
Yeah. So a lot of it starts right there in the office, because your team is going to do exactly what your customers are going to do. They're going to take time off. They're going to spend it with their family. So you have to be able to take your team and allow them to enjoy time off, because if you don't, they won't come back. So they need that flexibility. So you've got to work around the technicians of who's taking off and make sure you don't have 3 technicians taking off the same week and all this. And then in the admin side, with your admin, you have to branch that out, make sure there's somebody in the office taking care of that. But then when it comes to the sales reps, what I always told my sales reps were, and you said this earlier, what you do today affects you in X amount of days later. So if you didn't work in September, don't expect to make the money in November or December. So with that being said, is that pipeline, it needs to have as much stuff around it as you possibly can have around it at all times, because when it falls, you need to be there to catch it. And just because we're telling you that it's going to be rough these next couple of weeks doesn't mean it's impossible, because I've had some pretty big deals fall in November and December.
Absolutely.
So, but what we're emphasizing them for you is to right now, you have the most opportunity to go out and prospect as any other time, because usually holidays, people are in better moods. They're more willing to talk to you. They're happier. They got their Christmas decorations up. They got the Hanukkah. Everybody's happier because they're going to spend time with their family. They may not be happy about it if it's mother-in-law, who knows? But they're going to get to spend time with their family, and their kids get to see their kids smile when they open up the gifts or whatever they're celebrating. So you get a little bit people more open to you coming in and talking to them. And one other thing that's really, really key in all this is your mindset. Mindset is everything. If you think that November and December you won't do anything, then you won't do anything. But if you go into November and December and you say, you know what, like Isaac was saying earlier, I'm going to prepare myself for the beginning of this year so I have a great next year. What's going to happen is you're accidentally going to get deals. Accidentally. You're going out and working for January, but you signed 3 deals this week. So
that's right.
Let this mindset of whatever you do today affect you in 60, 90 days or whatever the number is. And everybody's number is different. But the amount of effort that you put in over this next quarter is going to roll into next year. That will accidentally get you deals and prepare you to start next year really successful.
You're absolutely right, man. And you said it, man. It's a mindset. That makes me think of like Henry Ford's quote, right? Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
You're right.
So that's one of my favorite quotes. Right? If you think you can or you think you can, you're right. So it's all a mindset, and how you approach the next 4 to 6 weeks is all up to you. But you'll see the results. And to your point, man, in sales, man, some of my biggest deals hit this time of year, but those deals also weren't, they were worked. They were in motion, right? Those things were already, that came from weeks and months of working on things and building for those things to materialize during this time of year. It just don't happen, right? It's not gonna fall in your lap. You can't sit back and wait on a lead to fall in your lap this time of year. It's not gonna happen. People aren't just spending money the way they are, in the first, second, and third quarter. You got to go out and find it. You got to prep yourself for it, and that's the biggest thing. So,
we talk all the time regarding like inspiration and stuff, and how, like, I mean, we were just talking about sports reflecting, sales culture, and like a lot of stuff that I talk and think. There's a lot of influential things that motivate me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like one of the most motivational speeches of all time was on Any Given Sunday,
Yes.
At the end, he's like, I'm not gonna do it for you. I made every mistake a middle-aged man can make.
Yep.
Yeah. But like, even there's philosophies that are still practiced today. Like, for example, the pyramid of success. That's not a great picture of it, but like, there's a statue in Indianapolis. I've seen it. It's him giving the speech to his team.
Mm-hmm.
There's like Jimmy V, or is it Jimmy V? Like
Jimmy V, yeah.
But there's just so much that like sports philosophies can drive you to success, because at the end of the day, you have a goal to get as a team, as an individual, inch by inch. You look at the guy to your right, he's gonna do it inch by inch.
Yep, absolutely.
But that goes back, Chad, right to the mindset, because the mindset of a sports person is to win. The mindset of a sales rep should be to win. So it's the same mindset and same philosophy to look at is, hey, and what is winning to you? Is, as a sales rep, is the money? Is it the time you get to take off and spend with your family because you've already hit your quota 200%? Now you take December for your time. What's winning for you? So you need to find out your why. Once you find out your why in sales, that makes it 1000% easier to get to it. Not because it's easy to get to, but at least you know where you're going.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And we as trainers and leaders, if you look, I mean, when I talk to you guys inspire me to like kind of look at some of the stuff that I've maybe forgotten. But even like in the pyramid of success, that John Wooden, it was success as a pyramid, and it's comprised the two going down, faith and patience, but then it's competitive greatness, poise, confidence, condition, skills, team spirit, self-control, alertness, initiative.
Yep. I
mean, friendship, loyalty. I mean, here, I'll tell you this. I have JJ invited me to come and attend his event down in Greenville, South Carolina. I didn't know what to expect. I had no clue what JJ's role in this was. I thought it was a home show. Here, JJ's giving speeches and handing out prizes, and like every vendor knows JJ, and every competitor knows JJ, and like he's doing exactly what we're telling every rep to do. Go out there, create a culture, create your own business. Be the person that if somebody needs something, they're going to pick up and call. I guarantee you anybody in South Carolina that needs a system is going to pick up the phone and call JJ.
Yep.
Or somehow it's going to get back to JJ that somebody needs a system or needs whatever the case may be. I mean, that was impressive. And
awesome.
You humbly don't say it, but you're the affiliate.
Yeah.
And
basically, JJ is the governor of South Carolina.
Pretty much.
Pretty much, he's the governor of South Carolina. And man, I wish I could have made it, man. I didn't have power up until like a couple hours before that. You know,
But you could have been on the bench with me with a torn tricep.
Good Lord.
Yeah, that was crazy. You need to put a picture up of that torn tricep.
Yes.
That's what we need to.
Oh my God.
That was crazy.
The team he played golf with, the Doug and Ben Lancaster with Honeyman, they said he was driving the crud. I mean, he was just bombing it. So he just, I guess, one of them swings.
What's that?
I didn't know you could play.
Well, I was never allowed to learn how to golf when I was young because they thought it would screw up my baseball swing. So I taught myself how to golf right-handed so it wouldn't mess up my swing.
Oh.
So because I'm left-handed.
Really? Interesting. See, you learn something new about your people every single day.
He swung it so hard it took his tricep with it.
Right.
It's gone.
It was down here.
Show him the dent. Show him the dent.
Let's see the dent in the tricep. Oh, look at that. You see it.
It's right here. Like where your tricep should. Oh, like, look.
Yeah, there
it goes in.
Yeah. Got a nice little
There's no meat there. It's just bone.
Wow. Oh, that's terrible, man. Guys, it's the weather has dropped. It was like, so we live in different regions of the country. Chad lives outside of Pittsburgh. I live in Savannah. JJ lives in Columbia. Me and JJ are kind of close. But Chad is way up north. So you've been experiencing cold way before we have. Like this week, it was like 50 degrees when I woke up, which is like I'm like 50 degrees. Like I got on 2 jackets. Like like 50 degrees, I am frozen. That's about the limit of what I'm willing to endure. But man, I went out to walk my dog this morning. I still got on my hoodie. It's hoodie season, right? It's hoodie season, so I still got on my hoodie. I'm nice and comfortable and cool. What are we doing, man, this weekend? You know, we got a cool weekend coming up. We got some really good football games. What's going on this weekend?
So I'll hit it off real quick. I will be camping with the Boy Scouts Friday through Sunday. And what's really neat about it is this weekend's kind of special because I am teaching wilderness survival. So that means the kids, they have to make a fire 3 different ways without a match, without a lighter. So they've got to use flint, they use a battery and steel wool. They have to use, I'm going to teach them how to use a bow drill. And then they have to purify water 3 different ways, whether it's a drop water filter, whether it's boiling it, or whether using iodine tablets or whatever it is. And then that night when we get there to set up, them Seminoles play. So I will be YouTube TV in the tent or whatever, roasting the marshmallows.
To have your phone, bro.
Listen, I'll put it up the next night. Saturday night is perimeter survival night, so I won't have it Saturday. But I'm at least I'm gonna watch the first quarter. I'm gonna see how we start out, and then. But other than that, man, they also have to build. This will be the only time that they have to do it, but they have to build their own shelter and sleep in it, so they can all take on their individual shelter and try to do it themselves. Or they can work as a team and make a enormous shelter, and all of them can sleep in it. So, and it's their choice. Hey, listen, I'm gonna give them the ideas. I'm gonna give them the thoughts, and then we'll see what the decision they make, and if they end up somewhere else before the night's over.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a really cool weekend.
I envision you like in Empire Strikes Back, like on Hoth, cutting that thing up and like pulling the entrails out and placing people inside.
I'll tell you this: if the zombies ever come, I'm going to Columbia and I'm going to camp out with JJ because he's going to be able to get us through for sure. What's up, Chad? What you got going on this weekend? I know you're just resting up, man. Probably you just got to get yourself back to 100%. Or you should.
I got to take a test. Yeah, well, I got an alumni baseball game on Saturday, and I was talking to Graham, and he was like, "Well, how are you going to play with a turn tricep?" I said, "That's my left arm. I'm good. I can do it on my right. I'm good." But I got to take a test to see if I can go, and if I can go, I'm going to go play, and then watch my alma mater play football that night. And then Sunday, I got the Jets game, which I'm getting emails from the Steelers saying that we have to arrive early because both presidential candidates are going to be at the game.
Wow.
So that's going to be
that lets you know who America's team really is.
That's right.
Well, Elon Musk was at the other one.
Was he?
When we played Dallas.
Did y'all see the new robots? They look just like iRobot.
Oh yeah, dude.
They look just like iRobot.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And they're all Optimus.
But what are they for? What are they for?
You can. It's like a Rosie from the Jetsons. You can buy them, and they can clean your house. They can whatever you want.
Man, JJ, you're showing your age now, buddy. You're showing your age. Like when you say Rosie from the Jetsons, I'm like, anybody in here who's under like 35 is not gonna know what you're talking about.
They don't know old Rosie. Oh, crazy. And her name just came to me too because you just know it. You remember her.
It. Yep.
She just took care of everything. But now they're gonna have the driverless taxi, and then the van. It had like 25 people in that van.
Have you guys ever gotten into one of those?
I've gotten in.
Yeah. A Tesla or like
Tesla.
The driverless Ubers.
No. Not
so I had done the driverless. It did autonomous. So the driver showed me, and he took his hands off the wheels and showed me it, but he was still in the car.
So my one of my really good friends has a Tesla. He has the it's the one where the doors go up, the butterfly doors.
Yeah, I think that's the Y,
the J or the Y, something like that. Anyway, and so he showed me. He was like, when you let go of the steering wheel, the Teslas are built to only give you like a certain amount of seconds before you have to put your hand on the steering wheel every few seconds. But there's like a weight that you can buy. It's like, I think he said like $80 or something like that. And it clips onto the steering wheel. So it makes it senses that there's a hand on the steering wheel and you can just let go and just ride as long as you want. And so I'm like totally against this crap, right? Like I don't want anything to do with the driving itself type of vehicles. I'm not a control freak, but I'm not ready for that yet. But anywho, so we get in the car and he does this thing and he's just like, he's kicked back. He's got his phone in his hand. He's like, yeah, I'm whatever, talking to me while the car is just driving down the road. And I'm scared as hell, holding on. This thing is going to just keep going at a stoplight or whatever. And it didn't. It was super smooth, stayed in the lane, slowed down, sped up. Like it was really, really smooth. And I was like, I'm still not ready for it, but it's cool.
The guy showed me, and it could see the different cars beside it. This was a van. This is a truck. It could tell the difference of the vehicles around it.
That's right. Yep.
It's like, wow.
Have you seen the videos of people going to work?
So
people like they're just sound asleep.
So we've got a guy in Nashville. He's in our IT department, and he has one, and he has a super fast one. But it takes him to work every single day. Being IT, I guess it makes sense. But he says the only thing you have to do is look forward. He said you don't have to be looking at the road. You just have to have your eyes forward. So he could be there doing an email or whatever it is on the screen, but you have to look forward in order for it to stay going.
That's right.
So I know in California that they have their emissions laws. So like they're trying to get rid of all cars that emit emissions or whatever the case may be. And they're taking old muscle cars. And I've seen like some old muscle cars that they've retrofitted with Tesla. They look sweet, but
crazy.
I don't know. I want an old pickup truck with a bench. I mean, think about that. Do you guys want to talk about think when you were young?
What I got.
I don't even think we didn't have seat belts in the back seat. There were ashtrays.
That's a different life, man. That was a different life. But yeah, no, you're right. You're 1,000% right.
You guys got kids, don't? How
yeah.
long do you have to keep a kid in a car seat now?
Man, right? It's by weight now. I think.
Yeah,
I think
it's by weight. I think it's like 50 pounds or something like that. 65 pounds, something like that.
Which means that probably till they're like, because they get in the booster seat when they're like 4 or 5 or whatever. So it just depends. It depends on their weight. But man, we got a lot going on this weekend for myself. Man, last weekend was super busy. My sister, she's a nurse practitioner, and she's opened up a aesthetics and wellness operation here in Savannah. Fluid Aesthetics and Wellness. Shout out to Fluid, my sister. If you guys are ever in Savannah, please visit Fluid Aesthetics and Wellness. She is the best in the industry. But she had her grand opening this weekend. Although she's had a soft opening for a few months. So this was the grand opening, ribbon cut and stuff. It was super cool. It was great to be there. So I had a really busy weekend last weekend. This weekend is kind of more of a chill weekend, man. I'm extremely nervous about my Bulldogs going to Austin, playing the Longhorns. But we'll see how that goes. So I'm gonna be on pins and needles all Saturday, waiting on that game. But man, I might throw some. I think I'm gonna throw some food on the grill, man. My mom, she went shop. Anytime she goes grocery shopping, she's like, here, I bought this brisket for you to smoke, or I bought these. So she bought me 3 racks of baby back ribs last week. So I'm gonna probably throw those. I got the Oklahoma Joe, man. I think I'm gonna throw those on the smoker, and let those smoke all day. Not all day, probably for about 4 or 5 hours. Probably do 4 hours. Uncovered, and then cover them up, smoke them for an hour, let them get good and tender, and then put them back on there for about 10 or 15 minutes, let them get tacky again. And then do that. But other than that, man, that's it. I don't have a whole lot going on this weekend. This little one, I try and get rest on the weekend because this little one, man, this guy, he doesn't even my baby doesn't even understand what the word sleep is. I mean, he literally has never slept a full night. It's literally every single night. He's up at 2, he's up at 5, he's up at 7. Like he never has slept a full night, man. So we try and get rest on the weekends because the weekdays are always hectic for us. So that's it for me.
I've been catching up on some movies. Have you guys seen anything recently? Like, because I've been stuck in my house. I've been watching a lot of TV. I gotta ask, because
I've been too busy. I haven't had time to watch, and I'm a movie buff. I've been sitting there scrolling, checking out some stuff, but I haven't had a chance to watch anything yet.
We watched 3-year-old.
If you don't know this, I'm also a comic book freak. I used to love comic books, right? So DC this week dropped this new. I've been watching a lot of stuff and reading a lot of stuff about DC Comics because I want to see what James Gunn does with it, right? And first off, if you haven't watched The Penguin,
I heard it was great.
It makes Sopranos look weak. Like you don't like it's Colin Farrell was badass in it, so that's a good one. And then they dropped this comic book called Absolute DC, and it's like they're retelling the stories. And if you get a chance, Absolute Batman #1, Batman is yoked.
Really?
I mean,
is it animation or is it?
It's a comic. You got right, but they changed the story. Like Batman isn't rich. His mom's alive. His dad was a teacher. Alfred is a hitman.
What?
Everybody was making fun of his his logo, but once you figure out it's an axe and he starts snapping people off of it.
Wow.
But there's a movie on Netflix, and I loved, and JJ, this would be right up your alley, but this actor, dude, his name's, what the heck is his name? Aaron Pierre. He just got named to play John Stewart, who was the Green Lantern.
Yeah.
he's playing. But dude, this movie, it's got Don Johnson in it. Don Johnson's this like chief of police in this small town down in Louisiana. And this dude goes, he was, I forget what they called him. It was he's a Marine, but he trains all the Marines in all the hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah.
And so like he doesn't use deadly force and he just beats up this entire town. Basically, it's First Blood, but redone. And this dude, Aaron Pierre, this dude's legit. He is
deal.
Awesome.
What's the name of the movie?
Man. Rebel Ridge.
Rebel Ridge.
Yeah,
I think I saw that.
It is.
I think I saw that.
Like in the preview, he's on the phone talking to it. He goes, "Yeah, I was thinking about all these people are getting hurt, and then I thought to myself, man, why don't we just walk away?" And Don Johnson's like, "That now you're thinking, son." He goes, "But then I said, nah." He just hangs up the phone.
So
like, this dude is awesome.
Chad is a comic book fanatic. He knows all, he sees all, he lives it, he breathes it. So and he's showing you guys right there. Chad can go on forever talking about comic books, but I'm gonna cut him off.
Wait, let me ask you one more question. Did you see
Yeah.
James Gunn? James Gunn did just release the first picture, and I'm talking it's Superman and Crypto sitting on the moon looking at
no, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen it, but I will look it up.
That looks badass.
I'm gonna check it out. Because I am excited about that. James Gunn taking over on that. So I am excited about that. But man, that is it, man. We had a longer episode this week. It's been a while. We got a lot to talk about, and we got a lot more, man. Like I said, we're gonna be coming at you guys every single week. We got some exciting guests coming on that I'm really, really excited about, that we'll get rolling for you guys. But man, with that being said, I think that's our episode for the week. It's the Hustle and Close podcast, fellas. We are back, but I want you guys to remember this: the H&C is not just for hustle and close; it's for humility and character. Show it, know it, believe it. Until next time.